Welcome back to the Numis Hunter, where we dive into the most astonishing stories in the world of numismatics. And today we explore the mind-blowing tale of how a simple 2005p Roosevelt dime became the subject of a jaw-dropping claim of being worth as high as $63 million due to a mysterious combination of extraordinary minting errors, bizarre dime mistakes, and speculative rarity that sparked imagination among collectors, drawing enthusiasts into a whirlwind of theories about how such a commonplace 10-cent coin could attain a staggering fortune. As we begin, imagine holding a 2005p dime that looks ordinary at first glance, smooth and silver-colored with Franklin D. Roosevelt's iconic profile on the obverse, but under close inspection reveals unexpected, subtle, and sometimes shocking irregularities that suggest it may have slipped through the U.S. Mint's quality control during a moment of unprecedented mechanical failure, producing an anomaly so bizarre that some collectors believe it could be one of the most valuable modern coins ever rumored, prompting countless people to search their change jars, drawers, and old piggy banks for this tiny treasure. And although the colossal 63 million value is speculative and fueled by sensational interest rather than established auction records, the legend continues because the coin allegedly combines multiple high-grade traits, ranging from dramatic double strikes to off-center placement, incorrect planchets, die clashes, clipped planchet rims, weak strikes, ghostly extra outlines, surprising metal composition possibilities, and hybrid mintings that collectors rarely encounter together in one piece. While the typical Roosevelt dime from 2005 Philadelphia is composed of copper-nickel clad and produced in the hundreds of millions, the rumored ultra-rare example is believed to have been struck on an experimental or transitional planchet, perhaps originally intended for a foreign contract or another denomination, meaning the metal balance might differ subtly from standard specifications, with faint hints of silver-like toning, unexplained weight deviations, and magnetic reactions that defy standard composition testing, stirring additional fascination among numismatists who thrive on identifying mysteries hidden deep in metallic layers. When viewed under magnification, the alleged specimen shows powerful doubling on the obverse, especially around Roosevelt's eye, nose bridge, and mouth corners, with the letters Liberty showing ghosted shadows slightly offset, while the date 2005 appears doubled vertically instead of horizontally, a clue associated with hub doubling rather than basic strike doubling, intensifying the belief that something unusual happened at the die creation stage. The mint mark P also seems thickened, with an elongated tail suggesting a distorted hub punching process. And this compounded doubling on major design elements is one reason collectors speculate such a coin could command astonishing sums because hub errors are considered far more prestigious and desirable than basic mechanical doubling. Furthermore, the reverse features heightened confusion. The flaming torch appears slightly rotated relative to the olive and oak sprigs. The veins of the leaves show extra lines beyond normal engraving, and the motto, E pluribus unum, displays shadowed impressions that appear to weave under the primary letters, all while the overall alignment seems off-center by enough of a margin to be noticeable without making the coin unrecognizable. And this off-center feature, when combined with hub doubling, exponentially heightens rarity. Adding to the mystique, the coin reportedly exhibits die clashing. Subtle outlines of Roosevelt's image appear faintly on the reverse, as if the dies struck each other without a planchet in place before striking this piece, which transferred ghost impressions from obverse to reverse and vice versa. A phenomenon especially thrilling to collectors who understand its mechanical cause. Imagine examining the rim and discovering a partial clip, slightly flattening one edge and exposing internal layers, which suggests the blank may not have been perfectly round before striking. And though clip planchet errors occur occasionally, The combination of a clipped rim with doubling, clashing, off-center alignment, and speculative, transitional composition pushes the piece into virtually mythical territory. Another aspect that fuels sensational claims about the 63 million valuation is the notion that the coin might have been part of a test run using recycled silver-based blanks or territorial contract planchets during a period of foreign production considerations. And while there is no official documentation to confirm such experimentation for 2005 dimes, enthusiasts believe that faint spectral toning and erratic microweight readings hint at composition irregularities that remain unverified yet irresistible to collectors seeking the rarest anomalies. Also, rumors suggest that this particular example was discovered under unusual circumstances, perhaps surfacing in a roll of coins from small bank or change given at a convenience store, given the modern fairy tale feel of a priceless treasure hidden in plain sight, an idea that intensifies the excitement and urges viewers to check their own pockets. The story expands further as some experts theorize that feeder mechanism malfunction could have caused misalignment during strike, while the press might have double-struck the planchet at inconsistent pressure, resulting in layered images and faint strike rotations, making fields ripple with subtle distortions that require expert grading equipment. Enthusiasts often mention that the surface under strong light reveals microscopic striations, indicating that the die may have been reprocessed or polished before final use. And because reprocessed dies can unintentionally create ghost zones or field distortions, this detail supports the idea that the coin arose from a very specific moment of equipment and metal interaction, one nearly impossible to replicate. Though the $63 million valuation may lean heavily into conjecture and viral storytelling rather than historical certification, what truly matters is that the coin symbolizes the essence of numismatic passion, the thrill of discovering that even the smallest coin can hold monumental wonder, inspiring collectors to explore, research, and imagine the untold stories behind mint errors, mechanical quirks, and historical oddities. The legendary 2005 dime reminds us that rarity often emerges when chance collides with machinery, when human oversight meets mechanical precision, and that error coins derive value not only from physical traits, but also from the narratives that grow around them, attracting treasure hunters who marvel at strange anomalies and dream of life. Changing fortunes. While the true market value of such a dime depends on authenticity, grading, demand, and real auction activity, the myth of $63 million persists because collectors crave the thrill of the impossible, and speculation thrives where confirmed examples are scarce or undocumented. Nevertheless, examining known error categories helps us understand why stories like this gain traction. Planchet errors involve wrong metal, clipped blanks, or mis-sized discs. Die errors involve doubling, clashing, or breaks that transfer unusual relief patterns. Striking errors involve off-center alignment, weak strikes, and double strikes. And mixed-type compound errors combine two or more of these elements, often skyrocketing desirability. When a single coin allegedly showcases an exotic blend of wrong-planchet, extreme doubling, vivid clashing, pronounced off-centering, clipped edges, and unusual rotation, the imagination naturally inflates its potential worth, even though no verified sale confirms a $63 million price tag. Stories of comparable modern rarities selling for thousands or tens of thousands at auction embolden collectors to consider astronomical possibilities, encouraging them to pursue every error discovery with fascination. The 2005 dime legend, therefore, serves as a modern folktale of numismatics, a narrative that blends technical possibility with rumor, inspiring enthusiasts to explore each coin carefully. Next, 2018 D Roosevelt dime that has been rumored to reach an incredible $6 million in value because of an extraordinary blend of errors, striking anomalies, and mysterious possibilities that elevate this seemingly ordinary 10-cent piece into the realm of numismatic legend, drawing both beginners and experts to examine their own pocket change with renewed excitement. As we begin, picture yourself holding a standard 2018 Denver mint dime, slight silver gray in color, minted from Clad, copper and nickel like millions of others. Yet when this exceptional piece comes under close magnification, it reveals subtle distortions, doubled inscriptions, off-center details, possible transitional metal clues, clipped edges, and faint die clash marks that together spark speculation that it may be among the most elusive modern errors ever discussed. The main rumor fueling the potential multi-million-dollar valuation revolves around the strange doubling effect visible on the obverse. Most notably across Roosevelt's profile, with his eye, nostrils, and jawline appearing to have ghost-like shadows slightly apart from the main design, while the word Liberty shows secondary outlines that appear stacked rather than smeared, suggesting a possible hub doubling event, which is far more desirable and rarer than standard mechanical doubling. Enthusiasts claim that the mint mark D on this prize specimen appears unusually thick and elongated, a clue that the hub punch or minting pressure was misaligned, adding to the evidence that the die experienced an irregular manufacturing moment. Meanwhile, the motto, "In God We Trust," displays scattered micro-shifts, with the letters N and W showing faint extra edges, making this an element collectors use to compare against known hub doubling examples from other years. When the date 2018 shows what appears to be horizontal doubling, with the numerals showing a faint second layer to the right, a new level of interest emerges. Because true doubling on both design elements and date can indicate a significant hub-level mistake instead of a mere strike vibration. Turning to the reverse side, collectors emphasize that the famed torch, flanked by olive and oak branches, shows odd rotations, with leaf veins appearing misaligned relative to their stems, suggesting a slight rotational misstrike that would be difficult to reproduce. While the torch handle shows tiny line distortions not seen on typical 2018 Denver examples. The phrase "e pluribus unum" appears to have faint echo impressions, especially behind the letters P and U, which upon magnification look like ghost replicas slightly shifted upward, again adding to the narrative that the dies might have been mishubbed or experienced unstable pressure dynamics during impact. Collectors also point to a particularly mesmerizing possibility. The piece may have been struck on the wrong planchet, perhaps one intended for a foreign contract or a different denomination, evidenced by slight weight irregularities or subtle differences in ring when tapped against a similar coin. And although this remains speculative without laboratory testing, it contributes to the dramatic value claims because wrong planchet errors are among the most prized discoveries in modern coinage. In addition, the alleged specimen reportedly shows a minor clipped planchet area near the rim, flattening one portion and revealing internal compositional layers, a phenomenon that occurs when the planchet is incorrectly cut before striking. And when combined with doubling and misstriking, it becomes an exceptionally rare compound error. Another reason collectors whisper about astronomical values is the presence of die clash marks, where faint outlines of Roosevelt's face and neck appear partially transferred onto the reverse fields, a sign that the dies may have struck each other without a planchet in between before striking this dime, leaving faint ghost impressions, which add to its uniqueness. Some versions of this story describe dramatic off-center striking, perhaps 3 to 10% off, shifting the obverse design slightly toward the rim, enough to be visually evident, but not enough to destroy the clarity of the portrait, making it desirable because heavily off-center coins are visually striking, and when combined with hub doubling, and clipped edges. They become rare hybrids appealing to advanced collectors. Another detail fueling its myth is the idea that the coin might exhibit minor rotation, meaning when the obverse is upright, the reverse is slightly turned, indicating a misalignment during strike. And while rotation errors alone are not typically worth vast sums, when part of a cluster, they amplify investment potential. Furthermore, rumors suggest that microscopic scanning reveals tiny die cracks running near Roosevelt's ear and across the reverse torch base, forming small raised lines that trace the path of a stressed die that may have been near the end of its life. And such die cracks, though common on circulated coins, take on more meaning when present alongside hub doubling and planchet anomalies. Some collectors speculate that the surface has peculiar luster variations, perhaps showing sections of unusually mirrored fields and hazy frost, giving it an almost proof-like appearance even though it is a circulation strike. And this possibility adds mystique because proof-like finishes on business strike coins are scarce and generate excitement among specialists. Continuing this story, theorists suggest that the Denver Mint may have experienced a brief mechanical malfunction during 2018 dime production, possibly due to a misaligned feeder or debris lodged within the press, causing multiple anomalies to arise within the same strike, which, if true, would explain the combination of multiple dramatic features otherwise improbable to find together. Although the $6 million figure remains speculative and lacks verified auction precedents, believers argue that the rarity of compound errors, especially those involving hub doubling, offset or strike, die clash, clip planchet, and unknown composition changes, could make the coin a one-of-a-kind specimen similar to legendary mint mistakes known to achieve astonishing prices when a wealthy collector seeks to complete a record-breaking collection. Another interesting twist involves the possibility that the coin weighs slightly more or less than the standard 2.27 grams, suggesting that its internal metal composition may deviate from typical clad specifications, fueling theories that the Denver Mint might have tested different metal sources or recycled blanks during the production year. And although there is no official report confirming such experiments, slight deviations in weight have captured attention and sparked debate. Some whisper stories that the coin's discovery happened by pure chance, perhaps found in loose change after a purchase tucked away in a roll from a local bank, or discovered in a family's coin jar, adding a magical quality to the tale because it implies that life-changing fortune could arrive unexpectedly in the smallest of forms. The emotional power of this possibility encourages many to check their dimes carefully, reinforcing the belief that hidden treasures might lurk in everyday places. While no graders have certified such an example as $6 million material, the very rumor drives curiosity, and history shows that sensational claims often encourage deeper research into legitimate errors, helping collectors understand what constitutes true value. Indeed, to appreciate why the 2018 D dime inspires such excitement, we should recall how error categories influence rarity. Planchet errors involve wrong metal, clipped blanks, or mis-sized planchets. Die errors include hub doubling, die cracks, and clashing. Striking errors involve off-center placement, weak strikes, rotation, and double strikes. And compound errors combine multiple categories, creating ultra-rare outcomes. When multiple major errors appear together, rarity can spike dramatically because each additional anomaly narrows the likelihood of repetition. Experts note that only a handful of coins in history have contained multiple severe errors and attained legendary status, often selling for extraordinary sums, sometimes in private sales that never reach public records. Next, 2021 P. Roosevelt dime that has been rumored to reach an eye-popping value of $2.91 million because of extraordinary minting errors, striking anomalies, and puzzling possibilities that elevate this tiny 10-cent piece far beyond its ordinary purpose. Imagine picking up what seems like just another dime minted at the Philadelphia Mint, only to discover that beneath its ordinary appearance lies a stunning combination of doubling, clipping, rotational misalignment, and mysterious damage that sparks intense curiosity among collectors, fueling whispers across coin forums and high-end numismatic circles that this could be one of the rarest modern mint errors ever encountered. At first glance, the obverse of the coin looks standard, featuring Franklin D. Roosevelt's profile with the inscriptions Liberty and I in God We Trust. But a closer look under magnification reveals faint doubling around Roosevelt's eye, lips, and jawline, creating a subtle shadow effect that suggests hub doubling rather than typical strike doubling, which is a critical distinction because hub doubling occurs during the die creation process and is far rarer and more valuable than mechanical doubling caused by vibration. The date 2021 shows a slight secondary outline along the top of the numerals, particularly noticeable on the 2 and the 1, which some collectors believe signals an issue in the hubbing stage that created partial duplicate impressions, while the mint mark P seems thicker and slightly tilted, which raises the possibility that the punch was applied under unusual pressure or misalignment, adding further intrigue. Collectors also report that the motto, I in God We Trust, displays a faint ghost impression beneath the primary lettering, almost as if the dies attempted to stamp the words twice, lending the coin an unusual layered texture that stands out under proper lighting. On the reverse, the classic design featuring the torch, olive branch, and oak branch also shows anomalies that deepen the mystery, such as veins in the leaves appearing misaligned with stem patterns and line doubling visible on the torch's flame, giving it a slightly fuzzy appearance, while E pluribus unum shows minor shadow impressions behind the main letters, fueling the theory that the dies either clashed or shifted during production. Further investigation indicates subtle die clash marks beneath the branches, where faint lines resembling parts of Roosevelt's profile seem transferred to the reverse, a phenomenon caused when the hammer and anvil dies strike each other accidentally without a planchet in place, leaving ghost images that then imprint on subsequent coins. And though die clashes are not unheard of, the combination of hub doubling, die clash signatures, and other striking errors working together creates an extremely rare hybrid error that increases the coin's speculative value drastically. Another fascinating possibility involves off-center striking, where the design may be displaced slightly toward one edge, visibly compressing the details near the rim and leaving more blank space on the opposite side. And although many off-center coins exist, modern dimes with precise doubled elements and potential die clashes, along with distinct off-center alignment, become exponentially rarer and more attractive to collectors seeking unique, high-value examples. Adding to the story is the rumored presence of a clipped planchet with one segment of the rim flattened or curved inward, revealing the inner layers of the clad metal. And when clipped planchets combine with significant doubling, misalignment, and clash marks, they can transform an already rare error into a truly exceptional piece capable of sparking bidding wars among elite numismatists. Some enthusiasts also mention that the coin may weigh slightly more or less than its standard 2.27 grams, suggesting that its planchet could have come from an improper stock or a transitional test, blank not intended for regular circulation. And although such claims remain unverified, they align with the coin's other anomalies and provide yet another reason for its rumored multi-million-dollar valuation. Another rumored anomaly involves rotational error, where the reverse appears slightly rotated relative to the obverse when the coin is flipped vertically, indicating misalignment in the striking chamber. And while mild rotations are not entirely uncommon, In conjunction with hub doubling, die clashing, and clip planchet, the cumulative effect dramatically elevates rarity and desirability. As if these details were not enough, some observers highlight faint die cracks extending from Roosevelt's hairline toward the rim and similarly from the torch base toward the outer edge, forming tiny raised lines caused by fissures in the die itself. And although die cracks alone do not make a coin valuable, their presence, alongside more dramatic errors, contributes further documentation of an unstable or compromised minting setup, strengthening the narrative that this coin was struck during a particularly problematic run at the Philadelphia Mint. Reports also circulate that the fields of the coin, especially on the obverse, have an unusual semi-proof-like sheen, suggesting that the dies may have been freshly polished or over-polished prior to striking, creating glassy surfaces uncommon on circulation strikes. And when this reflective quality meets the unusual doubling and clash marks, it produces a visually stunning piece likely to fascinate advanced collectors. Some numismatists speculate that this rare dime might have originated during a transitional period when the mint adjusted processes or metal supplies, creating a unique subset of planchets that carried minor, but important, differences in thickness or composition, and though unconfirmed, this speculation helps justify the lofty rumor that the coin could be worth millions. While no public auction has confirmed a sale near $2.91 million, private sales or high-security trades sometimes occur outside mainstream channels, making it difficult to verify such claims. Yet the absence of proof does not deter treasure seekers, who continue to examine their 2021 dimes closely, captivated by the possibility that one of their own could contain the rare blend of errors that set this rumored specimen apart. The broader value discussion rests on the idea that compound errors are exponentially rarer than single issues because each additional anomaly drastically lowers the chance that a similar event could repeat. And when a coin exhibits hub doubling, offset or strike, die clash marks, clip planchet, rotational misalignment, and die crack simultaneously, collectors begin to view it as a once-in-a-generation error. The numismatic world is no stranger to exaggerated valuations and high-profile speculation. Yet the story of this dime serves as an exciting reminder that every coin carries the potential for remarkable surprises, encouraging enthusiasts to research coin categories such as planchet errors, wrong metal, clipped blanks, mis-sized planchets, die errors, hub doubling, die cracks, clash marks, striking errors, off-center strikes, weak strikes, rotated dies, and compound errors that combine multiple issues to produce spectacular oddities. The rumored 2021 multimillion-dollar dime inspires collectors to stay vigilant because history has proven that incredible finds sometimes emerge in circulation, turning pocket change into stunning treasures. And even though many will never encounter such extraordinary examples, the possibility makes the search worthwhile, adding excitement and purpose to a hobby rich with stories and adrenaline. Whether myth or reality, this incredible dime represents the wild imagination, optimism, and passion that define numismatics, reminding us that fortunes can hide in plain sight, and that by paying attention, learning, and staying curious, anyone might stumble upon a treasure that could transform a life. So check your pockets, your jars, your glove compartments, and your old coin rolls because you never know when a 2021 dime with bizarre errors and unimaginable value might be waiting for discovery. Ready to rewrite your destiny and join the legends of the hobby that make collecting an endlessly thrilling adventure. Next, the 2003 Roosevelt dime that is claimed to be worth an astonishing $8 million because of the rare, dramatic, and highly unusual mint errors that push its value far beyond what anyone would expect from a simple 10-cent coin, drawing collectors, investors, and enthusiasts into a world where the smallest details can turn pocket change into a fortune. the 2003 D dime. Minted in Denver, normally holds no special premium, but reports and numismatic discussion suggest that a handful, or perhaps only one, extreme error specimen exists, showing a mysterious blend of striking issues, planchet anomalies, metal variations, double details, and off-center features that elevate it to mythic status among coin hunters. Its rarity begins with what many describe as an extraordinary planchet mismatch, meaning that instead of being struck on the typical clad copper-nickel dime planchet, it may have been mistakenly produced on a foreign coin blank or a silver planchet left over from prior testing, creating a composition far different from the standard, detectable through unique coloration, surface texture, and a slightly heavier weight. This alone would make it remarkable, but the coin story becomes more intense when taking into account multiple strike errors, including drastic off-center impressions where Roosevelt's portrait drifts into the coin's rim or spills partially into a blank region, a sign that the planchet was misaligned during striking, resulting in distorted lettering and incomplete imagery that collectors find highly desirable. Some descriptions suggest even more complexity, noting the existence of dramatic double dies where key features, such as Liberty, In God We Trust, and Roosevelt's eye or nose, appear to have been struck twice, creating overlapping or shadowed outlines that reveal mechanical hiccups in the die itself. Because double dies are created at the die-making stage rather than during striking, they are extremely sought after, as the die can produce multiple examples before retirement. Yet this 2003 D piece appears to be so unique that, if the reports are true, the misaligned doubling may combine unusually with an off-metal strike, limiting its number to only one or two examples. Furthermore, minting specialists claim that the 2003 D million-dollar dime contains a triple-layer anomaly in the clad composition, perhaps a lamination error, where layers of metal peel slightly from the surface, revealing darker metal beneath, indicating improper bonding during the planchet production phase. Lamination issues often affect value, but rarely to such a degree unless they appear on top of other major errors. And in this case, the overlapping nature of anomalies significantly multiplies its desirability. Another intriguing aspect is the possibility of an overstrike, meaning the coin may have been accidentally struck on top of another denomination or even a previously struck dime, creating ghosted images and faint outlines of lettering or symbols beneath the primary design. Overstrikes are extremely rare, especially when involving the same denomination, but the combination of features on this 2003 D dime leads many to believe that the coin underwent multiple striking attempts, yielding an uncanny fusion of misaligned surfaces, rotated imagery, and doubled elements. Rotation errors also appear to play a role, with some accounts referencing a misaligned reverse die that created a noticeable twist between the obverse portrait of Roosevelt and the reverse torch, olive branch, and oak branch symbols, making the reverse appear rotated relative to the front. Such rotation errors might seem minor at first, yet when combined with off-metal composition, doubling, and off-center striking, they dramatically increase rarity. Collectors further speculate that the mint Mark D on this piece may appear malformed, either elongated or partially missing, suggesting that the punch used to apply the Denver mint mark was damaged or misapplied. In rare cases, mint marks can be repunched, meaning the letter was applied more than once, leaving faint shadows around the main mark. This repunching could contribute to the overall stacking of errors. Edge errors may also play a role, such as an unreadable, overly smooth, or partially reeded edge, indicating that the milling process did not finish correctly or that the coin shifted during production. Reeded edge malfunctions are unusual on modern dimes, making this an additional detail adding to its mystique. Metallic discoloration, ranging from golden to pale gray, suggests that the alloy combination was non-standard, creating speculation that the blank may have been intended for a foreign issue, test strike, or prototype. The combination of color deviation with doubling, overstrike potential, and off-center detail presents a rare trifecta that helps justify the massive valuation. Meanwhile, the reverse torch and branches might show evidence of die. Cracks, thin raised lines caused by fractures in the die, creating dramatic visuals that collectors refer to as lightning lines, signaling a stressed die near the end of its life. These cracks frequently form raised ridges across the torch or reaching toward the rim, and in this case, they may join other anomalies to create a unique profile unmatched in the 2003 production run. Another possibility is a broad strike, where the coin was struck outside the retaining collar, causing it to spread outward, making it slightly larger in diameter with softer rim details, yet still displaying enough imagery to confirm its date and mint. In addition to broad striking, a clipped planchet error, where a curved section of metal is missing from the rim, could exist, further intensifying its odd appearance. Clipped planchets normally raise value, but on top of other enormous errors. Such clipping could elevate the uniqueness to unprecedented levels. Rumors even mention the possibility of die. Polishing lines, fine striations seen on the surface, cause when a mint attempted to clean a damaged die, leaving straight or curved lines across Roosevelt's cheek or the fields. Although generally subtle, these lines can sometimes interact with doubling to magnify the effect, creating a surreal, shimmering surface that is instantly recognizable to trained eyes. While many modern dimes are common and almost never worth more than a few cents above face value, the 2003 D, with all these layered possibilities, off-metal striking, multiple doubling features, rotational misalignment, lamination issues, potential overstrike anomalies, repunched mint mark, broad strike distortion, clipped planchet profile, and apparent die cracks, represents the unimaginable combination of flaws that can transform a mundane coin into a multi-million-dollar marvel. Although some claims surrounding its $8 million valuation remain speculative, the rarity of compounded errors is indisputable, and even the chance that such a specimen exists inspires collectors to check every dime that passes through their hands, hoping that another treasure waits in circulation. Ultimately, the 2003 D-Error dime demonstrates how unpredictable the minting process can be, how tiny mistakes can yield impressive premiums, and how the thrill of discovery continues to fuel the passion of collectors worldwide. Encouraging everyone to stay vigilant, explore their pocket change, and imagine that one day they too might uncover an extraordinary piece of numismatic history worth millions. Next, the 2002 D. Roosevelt dime that has been reported in numismatic circles as being worth an unbelievable $4 million because of a powerful combination of extremely rare mint errors and striking mistakes that transformed an ordinary 10-cent coin into one of the most valuable modern pieces of United States coinage, fascinating collectors, investors, and curious viewers around the world. Although the typical 2002 D dime is abundant, struck by the Denver Mint in the millions in worth. Only face value, rumors and discussion describe a unique or extremely limited set of error specimens that display such an unusual mix of striking flaws, composition anomalies, doubled elements, structural defects, and unexpected surface behaviors that they rise into the realm of legendary rarity. And it is precisely this stacking of multiple minting mishaps that makes the coin so intriguing. The story begins with the possibility of a wrong-planchet strike, meaning the dime may have been struck on a planchet intended for a foreign denomination or an experimental prototype alloy, giving it an unusual weight, unusual ring tone when tapped, and a different surface color or reflectivity than typical clad copper nickel. Such off-metal strikes are among the most desirable errors in existence, and if the composition includes traces of silver or another unexpected alloy, its rarity increases dramatically because the U.S. Mint ceased regular silver dime production long before 2002, so any modern dime appearing in silver or partial silver composition would be considered spectacular. But the story does not end there, because the specimen associated with the $4 million figure is also reported to show profound doubling on the obverse and reverse, particularly visible on the word liberty, the motto, "I in God we trust," and even the date, 2002 itself, with the doubling so strong that the letters appear almost shadowed or outlined, reflecting a double die error created not in the striking stage, but in the hubbing of the die, making it far more desirable. Doubling may also appear in Roosevelt's profile, showing doubling in the eye, nose, or lips, and on the reverse on the torch, oak branch, and olive branch, creating an almost three-dimensional layered appearance that dramatically increases collectible appeal. This double die feature, if combined with off-metal composition, becomes astronomically scarce. The coin may also display an off-center strike, in which the design is shifted dramatically so that Roosevelt's portrait and the surrounding inscriptions are not properly aligned within the rim, leaving a crescent-shaped blank area of metal where no design is present, a sign that the planchet was not properly seated in the press at the moment of striking. The level of misalignment can vary, with major off-center strikes, though shifted by more than 10%, being highly valuable. And if the date is still visible despite the misalignment, the value increases significantly. Some reports mention a rotated die error, where the reverse is rotated noticeably in relation to the obverse, resulting in a torch that does not align in the standard orientation when the coin is flipped top to bottom, an error that is highly collectible when rotation is dramatic. Others note die cracks or die breaks across the surface, visible as thin raised lines that may run across Roosevelt's head, along the fields, and even into the reverse branches, suggesting that the die used to strike the coin was deteriorating or fractured, creating raised metal lines and broken shapes that collectors sometimes call spiderweb cracks or lightning streaks. And when large enough, broken fragments can produce retained cud errors, where a portion of the rim appears swollen or uneven due to metal filling areas where the die is missing. This 2002 D-dime reportedly shows powerful lamination flaws as well, meaning areas where the metal layers did not bond correctly, causing portions of the surface to peel or flake, revealing darker metal beneath, producing jagged or uneven fields that are highly unusual on modern dimes, especially when combined with other errors. Lamination combined with doubling, misalignment, and wrong-planchet composition would be virtually unheard of, adding immense mystery to the piece. The mint mark D may also show abnormalities such as repunching, where faint shadows around the mint mark suggest the letter was punched more than once, or partial striking, where the mint mark appears incomplete or distorted, a rare characteristic that increases desirability because it demonstrates unusual mechanical circumstance during production. Edge anomalies provide another layer to the story, such as lacking full reading along the edge or showing only partial reading, which could occur if a striking collar failed or the coin was broad-struck, meaning it expanded beyond normal boundaries and resulted in a wider diameter coin with softer rim details. A broad strike normally increases value on its own, but combined with strong doubling, metal mismatch, and structural cracks, its worth escalates to the extreme. Some accounts of this $4 million 2002 D-dime mention the possibility of an overstrike, meaning the coin may have been struck on top of an already struck coin, creating faint ghost images beneath the main design. This type of error is exceedingly rare and nearly impossible to reproduce intentionally, which dramatically increases the mystique and desirability. There are also suggestions that the reverse torch and surrounding inscriptions show sharply raised die polish lines, where mint workers attempted to fix or extend the life of a damaged die by grinding away imperfections, leaving behind fine, directional lines that can give the surface a unique shimmering effect. Such lines are normally subtle, but when combined with doubling, cracks, and misalignment, they contribute to a highly unusual field texture. This coin reportedly has strong strike-through errors as well, meaning foreign material such as thread, wire, or debris interfered with the strike, leaving a permanent impression on the surface. Strike-through errors are always fascinating because they capture a moment of contamination at the mint, and when they occur on important devices, such as Roosevelt's face or the reverse torch, they become dramatically more desirable. Clip planchet errors may also be present, where incomplete metal blanking produces a curved cut missing from a rim. Clip planchets are collectible even by themselves, but in combination with multiple other errors, they represent spectacular numismatic oddities. The reason a coin like this could theoretically reach a valuation of $4 million is because of the unheard-of stacking of major error types that would normally only appear singly, and because the market for high-profile, major error modern coins has been growing, especially when the coin is believed to be a one-of-a-kind specimen. Rarity drives value, and the more extreme the rarity, the more powerful the valuation, especially when error categories compound. No known mass-produced 2002 D-dimes show anything remotely close to this level of aberration, which makes the few reported examples objects of intense speculation. Major auction houses have seen modern error coins sell for astonishing amounts when multiple major errors overlap, and the presence of wrong-planchet strikes, massive doubling, rotation, off-center, lamination, and overstrike features would put such a coin into nearly mythical territory. While most errors are tiny and often unnoticed, this supposed 2002 D-error dime represents the pinnacle of minting anomalies, a perfect storm of mechanical failure, die deterioration, misalignment, metal displacement, and improper planchet feed, resulting in a coin that defies expectations. For collectors, the allure is not only its speculative monetary value, but the story of how such a piece came to be, reminding us that even in the modern era of high-precision minting, mistakes can still slip through and create once-in-a-lifetime treasures. The possibility that this coin exists encourages coin hunters everywhere to examine every dime carefully, because incredible value might be hiding in everyday pocket change. Next, 2018 P. Roosevelt dime that has been reported to be worth a staggering $2,510,000 because of a remarkable combination of rare mint errors, unexpected striking mistakes, and unusual production anomalies that transformed a common 10-cent coin into a once-in-a-lifetime treasure, mesmerizing collectors, investors, and curious enthusiasts around the world. The excitement begins with the understanding that the Philadelphia Mint produced hundreds of millions of dimes in 2018, and under normal circumstances, each is virtually identical and worth its face value. Yet the specimen in question stands far apart because it supposedly displays a series of extraordinary minting anomalies, starting with an incredibly rare off-metal strike, meaning the coin may have been struck on an incorrect planchet possibly intended for a foreign denomination or an experimental alloy, creating a noticeable difference in weight, metallic sound, or surface luster, all of which would immediately intrigue serious numismatists. This composition error alone dramatically increases rarity, yet story grows deeper as reports describe strong double die characteristics, particularly visible on the word liberty, the motto, "I in God we trust," and even the date, with Roosevelt's profile appearing shadowed, layered, or doubled in the eyes, lips, and chin, which indicates a double die error produced during the hubbing of the dies rather than during the striking process, making it a more desirable and collectible variety. On the reverse, doubling may appear on the torch, olive branch, oak branch, and inscriptions, giving them thicker edges and distorted outlines that appear almost three-dimensional, catching light in unusual ways and drawing attention to their rarity. Many collectors note that when strong doubling appears on both sides of the coin, its value increases exponentially. The coin is also believed to show minor but noticeable off-center striking, where the design appears shifted outward toward the rim, creating a crescent-shaped blank space. Evidence that the planchet was not perfectly aligned inside the striking chamber, and if the date remains fully visible while off-center, the desirability skyrockets because it anchors the coin's identification. This error could be paired with a partial collar strike, meaning the coin was not fully enclosed during striking and therefore expanded slightly beyond its normal diameter, elongating the rim details, or softening the edge reading, resulting in a wider and smoother look than typical 2018 dimes. Along the edge, reading may appear incomplete, interrupted, or partially missing, indicating the striking collar malfunctioned. This is highly collectible because edge errors rarely appear on modern machine-struck coins built under strict quality control. Some reports describe rotated die anomalies, where the reverse design appears rotated significantly when the coin is flipped top to bottom, causing the torch to appear tilted relative to Roosevelt's portrait, which suggests that the obverse and reverse dies were misaligned at the moment of striking, a condition that almost never reaches circulation. Further inspection may reveal die cracks, tiny or long raised lines running across Roosevelt's face, neck, or the fields, as well as branching off near the torch and branches on the reverse, evidence of die deterioration or fracture. And when severe enough, such cracks can create what collectors call cut breaks, where sections along the rim appear swollen or raised due to missing die fragments. This cut type feature greatly increases value because it demonstrates catastrophic die failure resulting in metal filling the void during striking. Lamination errors may also exist, meaning portions of the metal surface on the obverse or reverse appear flaky or peeling because layers of alloy did not bond properly during planchet preparation, creating jagged or uneven textures that break the smooth. Fields typical of mint-condition dimes. Unusual strike-through errors are also rumored, where foreign materials such as thread, dust, or metal shaving became trapped between the die and planchet during striking, leaving a distinct recessed impression captured permanently in the coin's surface. If such a mark interferes with major design elements or appears on Roosevelt's cheek or torch shaft, its rarity and intrigue increase dramatically. Some believe the 2018 P dime may also possess a clipped planchet, where a curved portion of the rim is missing because the metal strip used to punch blanks overlapped the edge, creating a crescent missing section which, when combined with doubling, off-metal composition, and die cracks, becomes incredibly rare. Another possibility is that the coin was broad-struck, meaning it expanded outside the collar, and therefore has a larger diameter and smoother edges than normal, often resulting in unusually thin lettering and softer design outlines. A highly desirable error, especially when paired with multiple additional anomalies. Faint ghost-like images beneath the main design could suggest an overstrike event where a previously struck coin was struck again with new dies, causing blended and layered elements visible beneath the dominant design. If verified, this would make the coin almost unimaginably rare, as overstrikes on already minted U.S. coins are seldom seen. The mint mark P may show traces of repunching or doubling, or faint outlines around the letter indicate it was applied more than once or shifted slightly during the punching process, resulting in shadowing or misalignment, which adds to the uniqueness. In some examples, polishing lines may appear across the fields, indicating that mint workers ground the dies to extend their life, resulting in fine directional lines that shimmer in light. Though subtle, these can add charm and prove intriguing when combined with other major errors. Other possibilities include dye fill, where grease or debris clog the dye, leaving letters or numbers partially missing, creating a weak or absent motto or date. If the motto "I in God we trust" appears faint or incomplete, collectors often pay a premium because such defects are seldom seen on modern dimes produced under advanced quality protocols. Some believe evidence of a second hubbing exists, where the coin was struck by two separate die impressions yielding overlapping images that are misaligned at slight angles, creating strong mechanical doubling that dramatically thickens the lettering. The reason such an error-laden 2018 P dime could theoretically reach a valuation of $2.51 million lies not only in the extreme rarity of each error individually, but more importantly in the nearly impossible combination of multiple major error categories, including off-metal striking, significant double die elements, misalignment anomalies, fractured die features, lamination issues, partial collar or broad strike, characteristics and overstrike or strike-through indicators, coexisting on a single coin, forming a perfect storm of minting catastrophes that elevate it beyond conventional error classification. Many collectors understand that while any one of these mistakes might bring hundreds or thousands of dollars on its own, their presence together results in exponential rarity, especially if the coin remains in near mint condition with strong luster, little circulation wear, and visually dramatic error. Presentation. Coins like this often become famous not only because of their monetary value, but also because of the story of how they escaped the mint undetected, passing through hands disguised as an ordinary dime until recognized by a sharp-eyed collector or lucky individual who discovered its secrets. The Philadelphia Mint is known for producing billions of coins annually, meaning that quality control must operate at high speed, and when unusual combinations of mechanical malfunction, die, deterioration, misalignment, incorrect metal feed, and accidental debris occur simultaneously, a small handful of extraordinary coins can slip through, surviving by pure chance. The 2018 P dime has become a symbol of numismatic possibility, reminding enthusiasts that treasures can appear in pocket change, and that sometimes the most valuable artifacts begin life in the most ordinary places. Last, 2015 P Roosevelt dime that has captured massive attention across the numismatic world, a coin said to be worth an astonishing $285 million because of a breathtaking combination of extreme mint errors, layered striking anomalies, material inconsistencies, and virtually impossible production circumstances that transformed what should have been the most ordinary of U.S. circulating coins into a mythical modern rarity that collectors could only dream of finding. And although ordinary 2015 Philadelphia minted dimes are common and worth only face value, this unique specimen allegedly contains such a dramatic sequence of overlapping defects that its narrative has become legendary among treasure hunters who search their pocket change with the hope of discovering the next great numismatic phenomenon. The story begins with a possibility that seems improbable from start, suggesting that the dime was struck on a wildly incorrect planchet intended not only for a foreign denomination, but for an alloy entirely unrelated to standard U.S. clad coinage, giving it an unusual weight and resonance when tapped that shocked both the person who discovered it and the experts who later examined it. And this surface composition may exhibit subtle golden or silver-toned hues, unlike the typical copper-nickel appearance, hinting that the blank feeding process at the Philadelphia Mint may have misloaded a test alloy sheet reserved for experimental use or foreign minting, producing only a microscopic handful of such pieces. Compounding this, the coin reportedly demonstrates some of the most violent double die traits ever seen on a modern dime, particularly in the inscriptions Liberty and I in God We Trust, where each letter shows thick, bold shadowing as if stamped twice under slightly different angles, and Roosevelt's profile, especially his eyelids, lips, and chin, appears dramatically doubled, giving the portrait an almost holographic depth that immediately conveys the seriousness of the error. Unlike common mechanical doubling caused by die bounce, this is said to be true hub doubling, which forms during die creation rather than during striking, and when it appears this strongly, its desirability rises sharply. On the reverse, doubling may appear along the torch flame and the leaves of both the olive and oak branches, causing them to appear expanded, thickened, and almost layered. And such extreme doubling gives the impression that the design elements float above the surface, reflecting light in mesmerizing patterns. Even more stunning is the report that the coin displays drastic off-center striking, with the design pushed so far toward the rim that a large blank crescent of metal occupies a noticeable portion of the flan, yet the date remains fully visible, a condition that instantly magnifies desirability because it certifies identification while revealing dramatic error. The off-center strike is believed to have been accompanied by a broad strike condition, where the collar failed to contain the metal during impact, allowing the edges to spread outward, creating a slightly enlarged dime with muted or partial reading along the rim, causing the surface to appear stretched, distorted, and softer along the perimeter. Additional examination suggests a rotated die pairing where the reverse design appears rotated significantly relative to the obverse, meaning that when the coin is flipped top to bottom, the torch and inscriptions do not align properly with Roosevelt's portrait, but instead shift at an exaggerated angle, indicating severe misalignment of the obverse and reverse dies that almost never escapes mint inspection. Collectors examining the piece have also noted a chaotic constellation of die cracks and fractures spreading across the obverse like tiny raised lightning bolts, cutting across Roosevelt's head, neck, and the surrounding fields. And on the reverse, similar cracks weave through the branches and torch, suggesting the dies may have been near catastrophic failure at the time of striking. And in one area of the rim, a major cut break appears, a swollen, raised blob where the die face had physically broken away, allowing molten metal to fill the void during striking, producing a relief bubble that forever marks the severity of die deterioration. Lamination errors add to the confusion, with portions of the metal surface on both sides appearing flaky, split, or peeling, revealing internal layers that never fully bonded during rolling and blanking, creating jagged patches where thin sheets of alloy lift slightly from the fields, catching dust and light in ways typical dimes never do. Reports also describe intense strike-through effects, where debris, perhaps tiny metal fibers, cloth thread, or even wire, became trapped between the die and planchet during the moment of impact, leaving recessed impressions across Roosevelt's cheek and the lower torch shaft, embedding the foreign materials outlined permanently into the surface. In addition, some observers claim faint ghost-like traces of underlying imagery hinting at a dramatic overstrike event, where the planchet may have originally carried a different design before being struck again by 2015 dime dies, creating overlapping, blended shapes that distort both portrait and inscriptions. A scenario so rare it borders on the impossible, especially in the era of computer-regulated minting. Further anomalies surround the mint mark P, which appears oddly shaped, doubled, or distorted, perhaps due to repunching or mechanical interference during hubbing. The field surrounding the portrait and torch reportedly show intense die, polish lines, long, fine scratches running in uniform directions, suggesting that mint technicians attempted to resurface and salvage the failing dies to extend their service life. inadvertently creating a distinct reflective texture that glints under certain lighting. Some inscriptions reportedly appear partially missing, perhaps due to grease fill where lubricant clogged the recesses of the die, preventing full metal flow during striking, resulting in weak or incomplete lettering, especially within the motto and United States of America, creating ghost-like traces rather than sharp contours. The edges of the coin reportedly reveal a clipped planchet feature, leaving a clean curved bite missing from the rim, a result of the blanking punch intersecting a void along the metal strip. And though clipped planchets alone are collectible, their presence alongside visible doubling, off-metal composition, catastrophic die fractures, and overstrike characteristics magnifies the impossibility of this coin's creation. Speculation suggests that the coin might have been part of an experimental run, perhaps during a transitional equipment calibration where foreign or incorrect blanks were mistakenly fed into the dime presses, and because so many simultaneous errors require multiple simultaneous failures, wrong planchet, failing dies, misaligned hubs, malfunctioning feeders, and contaminated striking surfaces, it is believed that only a single example could have survived, passing unnoticed into normal circulation until sharp-eye discovery. The staggering $285 million valuation attributed to this 2015 P-dime originates not from ordinary market behavior, but from the theoretical appraisal that such a coin, if authenticated with its full suite of extraordinary features, would be considered one of the greatest minting accidents in modern history, surpassing even the legendary off-metal transitional errors and double-denomination rarities that have appeared at major auctions, because its combination of wrong planchet, extreme double die features, violent off-center strike, overstrike distortion, rotated dies, lamination defects, strike-through anomalies, and catastrophic cut breaks exceeds anything previously documented in U.S. circulation coinage. Collectors point out that each one of these errors alone could command substantial sums, but occurring together, they create exponential rarity, pushing it into mythical territory where value is driven not only by numismatic significance, but by historical fascination. The possibility of a single coin carrying nearly every significant error class at once is virtually unimaginable. And for that reason,